Hi, I'm Jelona.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is Coffee Talk.
Today we're here with our new superintendent, Mr. Lemanski.
So, how do you become a principal?
Well, you become a principal through years of experience of working in schools. In my journey started as a teacher. I then moved on to athletic director, assistant principal, and then principal, and now superintendent. Along the way, of course, you need your education. I have a master's degree in education and certifications in principal and superintendent.
Why did you go into administration?
I always wanted to be an athletic director. That's what I wanted to do. That was my dream because I really like sports. And for various reasons, budget cuts and things, it kind of moved me into the direction of being an administrator. It's just more secure. I never wanted to be an assistant principal because I was always really close with kids. And being an assistant principal, you have to do discipline, and that really wasn't me. However, when I did it, I liked it. And I never wanted to be principal. It was the last thing I wanted to do was be principal because there's a lot of responsibility. But all of my training kind of led me there. And when I took the position, I was very happy to take it. And it was really me. Everything that I did, throughout my life really led me to being a principal. And I really enjoyed my time as principal.
Why did you pick education as a career?
That's a good question. I think about students in schools and how they end up choosing careers. And I think overall, we kind of, our families kind of bring us in a direction that we are. My mom was a school secretary. My dad was a fireman. My brother was in politics and also into education. It was just kind of our family. We were into service. We weren't into banking or anything like that. It just kind of was where we were and what we were comfortable with. So I think that's how I ended up. And everything, again, as I said earlier, everything I did as I grew up and worked kind of led me here.
So when did you become principal of Agawam High School?
I started here in 2004 at Orange and Brown Day as vice principal. And then in March of 2007, I took over the principal's job.
What needed change the most when first being principal?
My first day of principal, we turned the morning music on. That was one of the first changes. Secondly, we tried to change the school culture. We were kind of known as a school where we were very disciplined, and maybe kids still think that, but I think it was really important for us to change how students thought about teachers and how teachers thought about students. And so that was a really big part of what we wanted to change, was just the culture and atmosphere in the school of being more accepting, being more respectful of one another. And I think we came a long way with that.
What is the most important program you implemented?
Well, there's lots of important programs. One of the most successful was our AP program. When we first started, when I first took over, we probably had about 65 to 70 students getting passing scores in AP. And we made several changes and opened it up to a lot more students, which wasn't real easy because a lot of teachers were, well, wait a minute, that student maybe shouldn't be taking it. We had to change that attitude, and we did. And now, as of last year, I think we had over 400 classes being taken, or 400 kids taking AP classes with probably 275 passing scores. So I think that was great because it prepares the students for college and what to expect. And that's really always important because your first year of college is always kind of difficult. And if we can make it a little easier by taking AP classes, I think that's an important part of the school.
What do you think is an important skill for being a principal?
I think being personable, which means being able to get along with lots of people, understanding people, listening is most important. I actually heard this today. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use it proportionately, which means just to listen doubly more than what you talk. I heard this. That was kind of cool. I heard that this morning. I thought it stuck with me.
Huh. What is the most difficult part of becoming a superintendent?
The most difficult part was the interviewing process. took like several months. It was about a 3-month long. It was being interviewed by parents, having some students involved, school committee, having nights where the public came to meet you. So it was a long process. Typically when you go for a job, you interview for a job and maybe you get it in the next week or you don't. This one, took 3 months. And so there's a lot of stress involved with that.
What's it like on an average day being a superintendent?
On an average day, signing lots of paperwork, people being hired, people leaving, signing retirement papers, approving things, trying to get into schools. I've set aside Tuesdays for a day that I get into schools to observe classrooms. That's a really cool part. Getting into the elementary schools is another piece for me that's important because I was a high school person. So it's kind of a great thing to get into the kindergartens and fourth grades and seeing what they're doing, because it's really pretty interesting because it's not something I'm used to. So getting out into the schools is an important part. On Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, we have school committee meeting, which starts at 7 p.m. and doesn't get over till about 8:30. That's a little bit of an adjustment for me. Dealing with the public, the mayor's office, the chief of police, the chief of fire, the DPW, all of those things are a part of this job. You're the front person, you're the first person everybody comes to. If they have a problem, they're calling the office, fix this. And there's a lot of people involved other than me, but the buck stops with the superintendent.
Yeah. So where is your office located?
My office is located at the junior high.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you could instantly change something about public education in general, what would it be?
That's a really good question. What I'm seeing as I've taken this position is how much we're going to have to change to meet the needs of kids. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the technology wasn't where it is today. In 5 years and 10 years from now, who knows where it's going to be. So that, to be able to change quickly, having teachers understand what changes need to happen is so important. We don't even know what jobs are going to be out there. So if I could change something, it would be a way to help teachers learn how to teach kids in today's world.
It's important. If you did not choose a career in education, what else would you be doing?
I'd be doing something in sports, some sort of way. Although I've been attending a lot of conferences along with the police departments, I find that to be a pretty interesting place. Whether I would have wanted to be or not, I don't know, but what I see that they do is pretty important. They're trying to save people, and if you look at disasters in schools and fires, and they're the ones running in while everybody's running out, and that's a pretty noble profession.
Well, thank you so much for coming down and joining us on Coffee Talk.
Sure, my pleasure.
We'll see you next time.